diving straight in today because we're exploring an absolutely fascinating architecture. We're going to map out the exact intersection where light, breath, and thought literally weave into our biology. Now, for a long time, the idea of healing at the level of frequency or a field has been kind of brushed off by orthodox materialist science as, just a comforting story. But today, we are looking at the hard data. We're going to trace the invisible structures of life and see exactly what happens when ancient healing practices finally meet the rigorous, peer-reviewed measurements of modern science. And really, that brings us to the central tension of our journey together today. Is vibrational healing just a mystical anecdote, something crafted by hope and memory? Or is it measurable science? As we try to bridge this gap, it's completely natural to want verification. And I don't mean that brittle, fear-based skepticism, but a real profound yearning for resonance between what we feel inside and the evidence we can see outside. Healing at this level has to be seen, felt, measured, and understood through our best scientific instruments. So we're stepping away from mere stories and planting our feet firmly on the ground of scientific investigation. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Cells and Vibrational Environments. To start making sense of this, let's look at the groundbreaking cellular biology research from Dr. Bruce Lipton out of Stanford University. Think about the old assumption we all learned in high school, genetic determinism. It's the idea that your genome is the boss, that a cell's fate is permanently written right there in its DNA code. While Dr. Lipton demonstrated something completely incredible in his controlled experiments. He took genetically identical stem cells and placed them into entirely different culture environments. And get this, depending entirely on the vibrational and chemical conditions of their surroundings, those exact same identical cells turned into radically different things. Some became muscle, some bone, others fat. The genome wasn't dictating the outcome at all. It was just responding. The fate of the cell wasn't written solely inside the DNA, it was literally sung into being by the vibrational environment around it. Okay, so how does this actually work in the body? It happens through a fascinating biological process called signal transduction. Step 1 is the vibrational input coming from the external field. Then, step 2, and this is where the magic really happens, the cell membrane acts as an intelligent interface. It translates those electromagnetic and chemical signals. Moving to step 3, that translation triggers epigenetic modifications, which finally leads to step 4, directing actual gene expression. What this means is that the vibrational field surrounding a living cell can literally turn biological pathways on or off. If that field is coherent, it fosters health. If it's dissonant, it breeds disease. It proves that vibrational healing isn't just plausible, it's biologically inevitable. Moving right along to Section 2, Sound, Stress, and Healing. Let's zoom out from the single cell and look at the whole human body. Consider the clinical oncology practice of Dr. Mitchell Gaynor. He actually integrated coherent sound fields into his practice, using things like crystal bowls, Tibetan singing bowls, and vocal toning. When Dr. Gaynor compared a group of patients undergoing standard, conventional oncology treatment alone against those receiving standard treatment plus sound healing, the physiological outcomes were just drastically different. The patients who participated in the sound healing showed statistically significant increases in natural killer cell activity, which is absolutely vital for the immune system to fight malignancy. And even more amazing, their salivary cortisol measurements showed a massive measurable drop in physiological stress. And that directly correlated with patients reporting feeling way more emotionally stable and hopeful. Now, this lines up perfectly with decades of studies in psychoacoustics. When you are exposed to coherent, harmonic sound structures, specifically within the ranges of natural resonance frequencies like 432 Hz and 528 Hz, it does something profound to the human brain. It literally entrains your brainwave patterns into states associated with deep, restorative healing, specifically your alpha and theta rhythms. So the crucial takeaway here is that sound physically alters our biological resilience. The compounding biological benefits of hitting these coherent brain states are just undeniable. We're talking about accelerated tissue repair, an optimized neurochemical balance, enhanced immune function, and a severely reduced stress response. Sound isn't just soothing background noise. It is a structural, architectural tool for human biology. All right, Section 3, the power of intention. Let's expand this from the individual to the global macro level. Lynn McTaggart coordinated these massive worldwide intention experiments, where groups of people focused organized intentions on specific biological targets. while control groups were just left untouched. And the data across all these categories is overwhelming. Seeds that were subjected to group intention germinated faster and grew way more vigorously. Water samples exposed to coherent group focus showed literal shifts in their molecular structuring, shifts that were completely detectable using infrared spectrometry. And human patients receiving those healing intentions, they experienced statistically significant improvements in physiological markers compared to the control groups. The data is clear. The field responds to organized human intention. But maybe the most staggering finding from these experiments happened on a societal level. When collective intentions were directed at reducing violence in war-torn regions, researchers documented measurable, statistically significant drops in violent incidents during and immediately after those focused meditations. All other variables remained exactly the same. These are rigorously analyzed, peer-reviewed results, and they completely shatter that isolated mechanical view of human consciousness. They prove the reality of a shared field where coherent intention actually catalyzes systemic healing. Which brings us to our final synthesis. Section 4, the architecture of you. Let's pull the micro, the individual, and the macro scales all together into one unifying scientific principle. This is really the linchpin concept of this entire explainer: coherence. The consistent thread running through all this cellular, acoustic, and consciousness research is coherence. It's the alignment of our internal and external fields into harmonized vibrational states. What we used to call biological miracles aren't random anomalies at all. They are just the natural result of coherent vibrational interaction between consciousness and biology. It's what happens when your body, mind, and heart get back into resonance with the deeper symmetries of the universe. And decades of controlled studies in psychoneuroimmunology back this up perfectly. Emotional states, coherent meditation practices, and focused visualization directly rewrite your biological systems. Think about that for a second. These practices literally alter gene expression profiles. They modulate inflammatory pathways. They can even extend the length of your telomeres, which are basically the anti-aging caps on your DNA, and they enhance the regenerative power of your stem cells. The data stands luminous and unshaken against those old, fading ideas of reductionist science. So the data we've explored today echoes the foundational principles of ancient healing traditions, and it proves three fundamental laws. First, life is a field. We are not isolated mechanical islands cut off from the world. We are highly responsive, luminous participants in a massive vibrational environment. The second law, healing is coherence. Healing isn't always about going to war and aggressively fighting an invader. At its core, it's about retuning our biological instruments. It's about bringing our cells, our stress responses, and our brainwaves back into a state of harmonized resonance. And the third law, intention is creation. We are active participants in this field, definitely not passive bystanders. Our focused thought, our organized intention physically shapes the reality of water, of seeds, of cells, and yes, even entire societies. So as you are taking all this information in right now, breathing the air wherever you are, I want you to realize that you aren't separate from the miracle. You are the miracle, not by chance, but by your very nature. The codes for self-rejuvenation and quantum evolution are quite literally humming inside you right now. The proof isn't just trapped in those academic papers and peer-reviewed journals we looked at today. The proof is written in the breath you are taking right this second, and in the profound, highly responsive architecture of your own cells. The field is out there just waiting for your conscious engagement. So I want to leave you with this one deeply personal question to chew on. How will you consciously engage the luminous architecture of your own cells today? Are you going to tune your environment? Are you going to shift your intention? The power to do it is literally vibrating inside you right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Quantum Healing Codes: Unlock the New Science of Self-Rejuvenation. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.